Folks, we are back. It is good to be back. We are kicking off the summer season here today with our day after show. It feels good to be back. I'm excited that we're here. I'm excited that we have the next month of like so many pods and so many shows. This is it. And we had, Mr. Danny Rosewoods himself on the scene last night at Solshine.
Boots on the ground.
Yes, boots on the ground indeed at Solshine for Goose's first show of the summer. No, Neil actually came back from his nice run. He's getting spry for summer tour.
Got to get in shape. Listen, got like a whole week of tour coming up. It's you got to get in shape for that. 7 straight days.
To build the stamina up.
Yeah.
Yeah, D is here instead of voting in Music League. All right, let's dive in here without any further ado. D, you just hit up the yesterday at Solshine. Hoodieless Neil. Sorry, Cam, I'm getting too distracted by the chat. You just hit up the Sunday at Solshine, just nice in and out one day. How did it feel coming in to the festival yesterday?
Exactly. We went down, my girlfriend and I, Christine, we went down, left Chicago about 7:38. It was a little bit like foreboding and worrying of a day though, just with a lot of the weather that was forecast. So I think that there was a little bit of that preparation, like, oh, it's just going to be wet. It's going to be muddy. It's going to be awful. But still you're committed. I was excited. We drove through the storm that basically came through the whole camp, I guess, early in the morning. So didn't have to sleep through that. Made it in, and then the sun kind of just hung around all day at that point. Basically, we got in under the grounds about 11:30. We were kind of by the VIP tent, so I had that access and a quick shot over to the Moonshine stage where they were. And it was my first time down at Three Sisters or summer camp growing up in Milwaukee. Just never made it, but I was impressed with the grounds. It was nice, like good setup and sort of spread out locations. I guess their attendance was a little down maybe compared to summer camp years, but like I enjoyed that because it obviously felt just a little more comfortable and very manageable. Like great, saw a lot of people, fun time. I was excited.
And people got hip to the fact that you can go check out Soundcheck if you're there at the right time, which is pretty cool. We saw that, last year when I was there were like 3 of us watching Goose's Soundcheck. So it was cool to see, bigger crowd this year. Obviously they were at the Moonshine stage this year, which is definitely a better stage than the Sunshine stage that they played last year. Less dusty and better, kind of like a natural bowl at the venue. But this Soundcheck was released along with the soundboards today, which is awesome because it is phenomenal. But you have this nice little jam into Rockdale. What were your thoughts on the Soundcheck, and what was the vibe around at that time?
So I'd heard we'd kind of heard the news that 12-1 was Soundcheck, so kind of got that in mind. Like we said, sort of wanted to get ready and run over there before even kind of just settling in for the rest of the day. So strolled down, just kind of a nice little easy jam to start, drums, Cotter sort of building in, Peter with an early clav, kind of just building some momentum, and then they all just kind of linked up. And we were talking a little before, I mean, really cool effect that Rick was using on the last 5 minutes of that Chillicothe jam, and then melted really well into Rockdale, and as we know, just super good little Chillicothe.
Is that it? Chillicothe?
Chillicothe? I think it's Chillicothe. But who knows? But and then the Rockdale was good, short, sweet, but had a nice little Dragonfly sort of segment, which I was glad to hear kind of came through. Yeah, so I was really excited. It was great. They sounded really good, and like it's always fun. It's sort of like you don't get those experiences a lot anymore. 200 people, 250 people is very minimal crowd. People just kind of wandering over. So
that's awesome.
It was really fun.
Yeah, that jam is really, really cool. And that effect that you mentioned, we heard it in that like little they're rehearsing for summer tour clip that they posted on socials like a week ago. And it was like, ooh, like Rick's got a new, very like kind of synthy tone going on. Cool new effect. So it's cool to hear it pop up, and we hear it throughout the show a couple of times. But we did definitely appreciate the clips of the soundcheck jam that you were sending. Happy that the service was good enough at the time for you to get some video out to us, because last year, it was even a struggle to send texts. So I was glad that you were able to get that out and get the set list out. So closer to showtime, after soundcheck, I'm sure you went to check out some other bands, but as you kind of moved back over in preparation for Goose, what was the crowd like? What was the vibe like? How were people feeling?
It was good. I mean, yeah, throughout the rest of the day, had seen some stuff, stayed out of the sun, got to see the enigma that is Chalk Dinosaur.
Your nose does not look like you did a very good job of staying out of the sun.
This was actually from Saturday.
Okay.
So we went down to the water on Saturday in the city, and I got a little. I'm just building up the base for summer, man. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I think once again, really easy. We just kind of like regrouped, went to Chalk Dinosaur, saw some Doom Flamingo, and then sort of came back from that stage. And at first, because everybody, you sort of forget to realize when you're at a festival, like you're like, man, there's a lot of people here for like Doom Flamingo. They played 7 to 8:30, and Goose was at 9:30, and so I was like, crap, is this going to be like how packed it is, or like you just sort of needed to resettle, and you got to stay in the spot that we were in, and we showed back up, and it was like, oh, it's empty again, like 20 minutes before the show. It's sort of like I forget about that at a festival, right? Because of this schedule, people are just kind of always moving around and committed to their schedule for the most part. So yeah, it was great. Ended up right in front of Soundboard. Vibes were good. Crowd was into it. People were really excited and settled in for the night.
Awesome. And so let's dive into the show here. Give Neil a chance to speak.
Please.
I'm
just listening. I just want to hear about everything that happened.
No, I know, but now we can hear your opinion on things after we hear Dee's opinion on this. In my opinion, amazing 1-2 punch opener of Hot Love and the Lazy Poet and Feel It Now. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I Hot Love. I like immediately, right when you first hear a newer song like that live again. I think I was kind of, and once as we knew, I was reliant. We were reliant on me for the set list, so we didn't want to get the wrong call or anything. But I heard that distinctive start and kind of the guitar line, and just needed one more sort of section. But it was cool to hear it again. I think it was a good. It sort of fits it's got like a turb opening vibe kind of thing. Like it's something that'll like work, I think, in an opening
that Vasudo vibe
slot. It just really is. And then Feel It Now. Like we had said, I think just sort of a song that wasn't played as much latter half of last year, and they kind of had been reworking it, maybe speeding it up a little bit for a sort of time period. And then I mean, I liked it. It sort of settled back into the older sort of intro, but Peter had reworked some sections, and Cotter obviously adding some new elements. So I liked it. It was good to see it back out, and I think it was a perfect song for the fest too. It just kind of gets people moving really well.
Awesome. Neil, what did you think of the first two?
Yeah, man. Well, it looks like Hot Love and the Lazy Poet is going to be the song of the summer, where it's going to be like every third show. That's my guess. Is like they've always got one, and I think this is going to be the one. And I'm not going to complain about
big
that.
proclamation
now.
Big proclamation for the second time the song has been played.
I like it.
And the first show of the summer.
I like it. I'm here for it. If Neil calls that, I could see it.
I mean, if you're going to play it like basically, in a short span, and then play it at a festival set too, they're going to play the hell out of that song. I have a feeling, and that's great.
I mean,
I'm excited about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like the last time they play it for like the next like year and a half. Who knows? But it does seem to be like that. That's that kind of a song. You know how they do this. I mean, it's like Rockdale 2 summers ago or whatever, where it's just they just play the heck out of it. So yeah, I see that being played a lot. And then Feel It Now, who the hell knows what's going on with that song? It was, I think, an 8-show gap, 9-show gap before this, and then a 5-show
10.
gap. Yeah, 9-show gap.
10.
So I mean, that's a lot of shows for a song that's that good, right? So they played it twice over the course of 20 shows or 19 shows. So that's a rarity, which is odd. So I don't know. That was pretty cool. I listened to it all the way through because I just hadn't heard it in so long. I think this is the kind of song, like if I'm trying to catch up and boards come out, 3 hours before we record, I might actually skip it, but I listened to it all the way through today.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing about Feel It Now. So I just checked. This is only the second time it's appeared in the first set ever.
Oh wow,
we got balloons for that.
Yeah.
And the only other time was when we saw it at Peach last year. So interesting that both of those have been at festival appearances. But I think an early first set, Feel It Now, is great. I think it worked really well here, and I love the funkier intro that they have going here. It feels just like more driving. And yeah, Rick and Peter, as you said, D, playing little different parts, but yeah, this song is great. And then they come in with the second consecutive mid first set Arcadia, which is cool to see it pop up in this slot again, after it was there obviously because of the Moon Cabin show, and just the way that album goes. But it's cool to see them there. I was talking to someone about this yesterday, and it's like, I like that they're placing this here. Because I feel like a lot of last year, Arcadia was kind of used as like here's the encore, or like we've got 15 minutes until curfew. Yep. Let's throw the Arcadia in. It'll be
first
solid.
Set closer sometimes is traditional.
Exactly, but it'll be solid. It'll be a lot of fun, but we're not giving it the space to kind of really breathe improvisationally. And I think the last two have been great. I like this one a lot. Very type 1.5. Kind of like pushing at the boundaries of the song, not quite venturing out, but really, really solid jam. Some great interplay, and I really like when they hit the ending, Peter using the vintage vibe a little. He usually just does piano and organ at the start of that build, but I loved the way that sounded. How was this Arcadia for you, D?
It was good. It was surprising, like you said. Kind of heard the first elements of the synth, and I still like, at times it's like, is this Animal, is this Arcadia, is this kind of, and I could have seen Animal there, right? That could have totally made sense in that 3-slot festival. So yeah, like you said, aside from the track listing of Moon Cabin, I think it still fit there, gave the song an ability to breathe. You said it really well. And yeah, different approach to it. They kind of like got out of the composition, and I thought sort of went a different way, with Peter on the OB6. It's kind of synthy and sort of like bouncy, and sort of like he had been toying around with that during the sound check, and seemed like a similar sort of sound he was going for during that Arcadia, and sort of felt like it was like waffling noises, like it's sort of like bouncy groove. And I think I need this was one for sure I need to hear again, because I wasn't very impressed with it. But then in the moment, sort of like, I just maybe didn't click. But the way you're hit, lengthwise sometimes, and then you see sort of other reactions, and you're like, well, maybe I was just wrong, and that's okay. On first listen, or first experience. So I liked it.
What are your thoughts on this Arcadia?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. It's got, you guys, I think, pointed out that synth kind of playing right in the middle of it, that I thought was pretty cool. I mean, Peter's definitely doing exciting stuff with that thing and finding new places to throw it in there. I think this reminded me a lot of the Arcadia that they played at the Cap. Just had a similar kind of vibe to it. And I really liked that Arcadia, although you guys hated it, but I loved that Arcadia.
I didn't hate. I love that Arcadia.
What is the Ted Tapes tease that's in it? It's
Nebula.
Nebula. Yeah. So this one kind of had that Nebula vibe too for a bit, and they didn't quite go to the same places that they did in the Cap Arcadia. But if this is what Arcadia is going forward, I'm down. It sounds so good. Yeah. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I mean, it's not. It's not a 2021 Arcadia, but it's cool.
Yeah. Then this time
Tumbling.
The tumbling Canadian internet.
Sorry, I just got a little. Yeah, I got a little.
Oh,
clip
did
there.
I? Oops. Neil,
think-
tell us your thoughts on this tumble.
I don't know if I have any particular thoughts on this tumble. I mean, it was a particularly upbeat tumble. I was listening to this literally right before we recorded while I was running, and I was like, I was bopping along.
I was gonna say
Good
that's good
vibe,
running
yeah.
music.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, that's what I have to say about it. If I was writing like a running playlist of Goose songs, I would throw this tumble on, maybe.
There we
Tumbles
go.
on there.
Yeah.
Exercise to it. I thought it was great. As far as a standard Type 1 tumble goes, this is very, very good. Nice 2-guitar, Peter sticking on guitar the whole jam. Some cool, themes they're playing around with. Nothing crazy,
Trevor.
but a lot of Trevor early on, but really enjoyable listen, I think, for sure.
Yeah, and it's another one that I think fits. It's sort of fits well with a festival. It's just a beach tumble, like we said last year too. You just and we saw it later in the set. But yeah, kind of straightforward for me too.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
But then we got a nice surprise.
I Would Die For You and SOS to close out the set. Man, love that I Would Die For You is in regular rotation. Was there a reaction to the song, D?
So yeah, I mean, well, we had ran up to go to the bathroom as Tumble was kind of wrapping up, and ran up to the porta potties at the top and got a good view and everything, and heard sort of there was a big pause. I'm sure, like I'm not sure if you listened to that break out of Tumble. It was almost like I felt like I was like, did they leave the stage or something? Like
it was like a Grateful Dead like in
From the
between
top.
song break.
yeah, like
just
like
missing
I
some
was
tuning,
I was seriously like, are they on the stage still? And then like 90 seconds later, you got the synth and then the drums too. And I kind of the same thing, like, please forgive me. Like just the first little notes of it, like Cotter's drums could be somewhere else. But then, yeah, once Peter hit that synth line, and I was surprised. And had some like one of the vendors, the bartenders, we had gotten a beer at set break, and he was like, that Prince song though, like he's like, I don't love Goose, but like he's like, I don't love Goose, but that was awesome. And I think that's just a good little grabber, because other people were talking about it throughout the night. That was one that was like, what was that cover they did? And I was like, Prince. So yeah, it was fun. SOS, just a solid banger to end the set too. Classic.
Can't go wrong with an SOS set closer ever. And I Would Die For You gets that new effect from Rick during the jam, which sounded really, really great. Love to see this in pretty regular rotation. This is now the third time they've played it. All within a decent, not too many shows. So that, stands to reason that we will be seeing it more, which is excellent.
I think we'll see it again this summer.
About seeing this song for sure. Neil, you got any thoughts on the end of the set?
Yeah, just picking up where you left off. If this, replaces Electric Avenue as like the cover they play at festivals, then I'm pretty stoked. And the jam in it was really, really good. So I just listened to this. Just got done listening to this, and I thought it was just going to be kind of quick, and I didn't look at the times, but all of a sudden it was just like this really, really good jam in it that was, kind of not even in the song structure of I Will Die For You. So that was a surprise.
They like to stretch their legs on it a little bit. Which is great.
Jive Goose made a statement yet about this I Will Die For You? I know he's an aficionado of all I Will Die For You covers, but have we heard from him yet on this?
We've not. I don't know if the boards have reached the mountains yet.
This is the Salida Hills.
He's been able to
the
give it a listen. But one thing that I was thinking about at set break last night, not having heard a note of the show, just on paper, being like, wow, this is a huge step up from some previous festival sets that we saw, especially last year. Comparing it directly to last year's summer camp set, the first set at last year's show was Turbulence, Cali, Echo, Silver Rising, Animal. That's about as festival first set as you can get. Yeah. And this year, we got Hot Love, Feel It Now, Arcadia, Tumble, I Would Die For You, SOS. That's excellent. And I really hope that this is an indication of what festival sets are going to look more like going forward. Not just playing the quote unquote the hits, or they're kind of festival songs they like to play a lot.
Newer,
And it might be a sign that they're switching up the rotation of some of the songs. I got a nice goose egg in fantasy last night, though there were some obvious picks that I should have had.
For shame.
Yeah, I know. I'm ashamed
just
of
got
myself.
one.
But I'm
4
curious,
points.
D, how you were feeling song selection wise at set break last night.
Very surprised. Yep, I agree. That's like a set that you could see in a indoor venue, like during the tour. Like that could be like a very solid, well performed. Yep, maybe you might, and even I think it was about 80 minutes. It was close, so like it wasn't short by any means. I know they were scheduled for 75 after kind of being at 90, and we didn't talk. I mean, they came on 2 minutes, 3 minutes after 8:33 or 9:33, and then I think they were off about supposed to be off at 10:45 and was a little after 10:50. So that was good to see that it wasn't like as strict a cut in terms of just that timing. And yeah, song selection, I was very surprised for sure. I would say in a good way. So hopefully,
Neil, you have any thoughts on this before we move on to set 2?
No, I mean, agree that this is a very good set, and I mean, if you get
bodes
this
well for Northlands,
a regular show, I mean, that's
there you go.
I dare to say that's like a really good set, right?
Yeah,
and maybe it's just the inclusion of "I Would Die for You" that I think kind of steps it up, in my opinion, because it's just, I don't know, they do it so well. It's killer, and Hot Love, second time ever, pretty exciting. And then an Arcadia and a Tumble. That's just like classic festival fare for Goose. So it's all good stuff.
And sounded good though. Like I think we've, going like Arcadia was maybe a song, 2021 Arcadias, but like kind of a song that we've talked about with other songs in their catalog that kind of need a little freshen. Kind of gets a little, the last year and a half, 2 years where the jams weren't really getting anywhere or doing anything. So it's good to see. Yeah. And then good vibes going into set break. It's just kind of, we hung out. Yeah.
Awesome.
Like
and
nice.
then
You can run and go get a pee too. You can can run over to the VIP, you head back over, your space is still there. The VIP. Yep. And
then it doesn't get more Goose at a festival than playing Missed Kylie. And that's what we got to open the second set. And on paper, I was not excited about this. They've played Missed Kylie a ton of times, especially after you kind of, you were texting, you'd be like, oh, they're opening up the Mist Jam a little bit like the Cap. And then it was like, Kylie now. But on Listen this afternoon, this is actually great. It does not feel like your standard Missed Kylie that we've heard before. That is largely due to what Cotter is doing. Yeah. But there's some, the Mist itself is like 14 minutes.
So it gets a little more.
You get, and they pack a lot of improv into that. It hits similar theme to the early part of the Cap Mist.
Yep.
That upbeat major key thing. Segue into Kylie. Okay, Kylie is Kylie. But then the last few minutes of Kylie, they get into this really cool kind of ambient, very Peter, synth-led space as kind of the wind down. So I thought that was really cool. D, what were your thoughts in the moment?
Yeah, agreed. I was excited. I had picked Creatures, so once the drums beat started up, of course, it was like, and then one of our friends, she was like, Creatures, you picked it, and I was like, no, this is Mist. But surprised again. Like I was excited coming off of the Cap version, like we had said. Got into a similar space, and I definitely was excited and sort of thought, oh, we're going to launch it. This is sort of going to be the first one that really pushes out. I mean, in Arcadia had some legs, but maybe getting a little different and weird. And like you said, it kind of like just squeezed some of that space and improv into, the efficiency we talk about, like got a good, 4 to 6 minutes before kind of making that transition over to Kylie. And the initial thought was a bummer. I was like, this is just it just is for me. And I mean this with all respect to them. It's like just a little too easy at times. It's like we can, we've seen it a lot. But like you said, it actually was one of the better pairings of the two. And even I thought they were going to kind of come back up into mist the way that the end of Kylie hits. I sort of
Maybe
like,
they have.
yeah, they should have for sure, but
we need more finished mists.
yeah. Yeah, but I think you know, it'll be good and people will be a little more surprised, Neil, as well too. Yeah, I think like it's nice. It's not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go listen to this Kylie every time. Once
But no,
I'm
if there's a missed Kylie you're gonna want to listen to more than once, it's this one. It's absolutely this one.
I mean, I guess we have that.
We
I
do
will
have
just
that.
say this about Can't Get You Out of My Head. I mean, last year they played it like every festival. They played it at Okeechobee. They played it at Electric Forest. They played it at Cascade
I
Equinox.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
It's just like,
Just-
man, like what the
they
hell?
played it.
Like,
Yeah. Never mind.
it's
Yeah.
too much.
I mean, to be fair though, like, and that's another one, crowd reaction, loving it. People know it. You got
Yeah.
a different sort of age range, no matter how
I'm
old you
happy
are.
for all the people who
Yeah,
You-
are
but
very excited about
we
it.
say this
happy
all the
for
time.
people.
Yeah, that was not for us.
Yeah, if you if you
at
are
this-
able to go to a show and just have fun without over analyzing every note and ruining the music for yourself like
Excellent.
we do,
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you.
Well, no, I do want to make a point around that, which is this. Like, I think there are like
Ruin
a
it
lot
for
of
yourself like me last night.
yeah, a lot of people who like do listen to Goose now, right? So like, you know, when Goose was playing, I don't know, like summer camp in 2019, for example, like they just wanted anything that would like grab people's attention, and I think
Sure.
that this is what that kind of song would do, right? It'll just grab your
Yeah.
attention if you're not already a fan. But like almost everybody at Solshine has at least heard a little bit of Goose. Probably a bunch of people have seen a bunch of Goose if they're going to go and, you know, check them out at the main stage, whatever. Maybe not. I don't know. But my point is, like, we can. There's some of those songs, like the attention grabber songs, that maybe can be left behind a little bit. I don't know. And Kylie is one of them. But it's been in the catalog forever. I mean, it's like
Probably
5
not leaving. Yeah.
full years, and yeah, I don't know. It like I said, it's festival sets. You do get tired of the Kylie. but
Shout out to
not
Jive
for us.
Goose, who I'm sure could feel a disturbance in the force when they did an unfinished mist into
Yeah.
Kylie last
Into
night.
Kylie, yeah.
I'm
Double
sure
whammy.
he could just like he felt something.
Yeah.
All right, next up, the second set continues with Arrow.
Just felt typical.
I don't
at
really
this
have
point.
anything else to say on this Arrow. Like, nice little tension, but it's a 20-minute Arrow.
As I said, yeah, and you know, another thing, yeah, it's just, I think a lot of my energy, especially in reflection at the end of the night, was sort of that section, and then the Everything Must Go, maybe not clicking in the same way it should have and did or will, but those two kind of Kylie, and then you get Arrow, and I was like, there's 30 minutes of the set right here. Like, you know, this is, we even knew, I was like, yep, and 20 minutes later we will, you know, kind of hopefully have went somewhere, but it just, not knocking them. Arrows have been a little bit better. This one just didn't click, and it felt
Good
like another
vibes.
good
Good
vibes,
It's a
great
fun jam.
vibes. It
But
felt
let's
like it
talk
was
about
more for the people.
Oh yeah. But let's talk about this Everything Must Go, because this Everything Must Go is, in my opinion, jam of the night. Absolutely phenomenal piece of music. And it's so interesting to see how, you know, in the fall after the Red Rocks version, we kind of figured like, okay, Everything Must Go is heading in this darker direction now. This is, you know, we're going to keep leaning into that. The one at the Cap hits some more blissy stuff. This one is a breathtaking bliss jam that they get into here. It you know, a lot of patience. Not the most quiet dynamics, but very, very patient, beautiful bliss jam. You know, you have some nice marimba piano work from Peter. And I just think the way that, you know, you used the phrase last night, you know, Cotter like chugging along through the bliss jam. And I think that's a very good way of describing what's happening here. But I'm really happy to see second consecutive 20-minute 20-minute Everything Must Go. You know, really excited to see this song really opening up the last couple of versions, you know, and will
Certified
continue
banger.
to do so. Certified
Yeah.
banger.
Since Boss even make the case that it's been since Stone
Asbury.
Pony.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely think
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's showing variety too. Like we've said, like you get some darkness, and I thought I thought the first, like, when they kind of leave Everything Must Go, and they did that switch again where you basically are kind of in the light and the positive, like, composition and lyrics sound, and then it kind of Rick got darker and sort of a heavier growl almost, and then it kind of like picked back up, like you said. But I think the way that they've reworked the song with the drums, with Cotter and everything, has really lent itself to how they've progressed the last two versions that we've seen. And
Sure.
hopefully just, because we'll see, there's going to be some this summer, 14 to 16 minutes, right? It doesn't have to have the legs. We see that this song can be like very power packed. And then, the re-entry, the way that they've done it now twice because of how quick the tempo is, which was a little different to what we heard in 2023. And you're like, man, how are they going to get back into the outro here? And Rick just delicately dancing, pulling at the strings. Yeah. And I thought he nailed it again. Really good. Definitely jam of the night. No question.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And then, like a 5-minute tee, shoehorn it in, close it out.
Gotta have it.
Yep. Easiest 8-pointer of the night.
Yeah.
That I didn't have.
Well, I mean, on obvious songs, like, you would have assumed there would have been an animal in there somewhere. But
they did Animal last year.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't pick our Arrow. That was obviously probably.
I mean, they did Miss Kylie at Electric Forest, and then did Miss Kylie this year. I mean, I don't know. Midwest festivals, like, if you go see Goose at the Midwest Festival, that's what you get.
I thought it was Pancakes Kylie at Electric Forest.
Oh yeah, it was Pancakes Kylie. Yeah, you're right.
Pancakes Kylie.
Yeah,
the
Midwest gets different songs that go into Kylie.
Into Kylie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are 8 days away from the first show of summer tour. I'm excited. D, you're going to be there in St. Louis. I'll be in Colorado after that. Neil, your first show of the tour is Northlands, I believe, right?
Northlands.
Yes, that was going to be a fun weekend. But I cannot wait.
We're going to be all over the country.
Oh yeah, we're about to have, I think it was 20 shows happening over the next month, which is so exciting. This is a huge stretch of Goose. I can't wait to see how a long form tour goes. We've seen bits and pieces. We had 4 nights at the Cap, the Chateau, etc. But this is the first time that they're going to be on the road performing for this long with Cotter. So I can't wait to see how the jams evolve, how the set lists go. What songs are regular rotation. But
this is also too, like, the thing. I was looking at the tour because I know Brendan and Becca, friends of the pod. They're doing, like, what is it, Philly, Westville, like, you're getting a couple, like, single stoppers, which is unique here too. They're kind of, usually it's a 2-night or it's a 2 and a 1, but to go to 3 cities in 3 nights is kind of unique for them right now. So I'm excited to see that, because I think not only for the people on tour, it's awesome to, you're schlepping to a new city, but it's fun to kind of go to a new venue. That's all the experience of the road trip. I'm excited, really excited. Some great venues, new venues, bigger venues, changing up Colorado. We got to see how that sort of approach.
It feels like a real tour, like a real, like a stop-to-stop tour. I mean, I'm going to do, 5 shows in 6 days? And, like, it's the first time in a while that I can remember that there's, like, a bunch of drivable stuff that feels like a real, like, summer shed tour kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, since last July, really, but, like, you had the September tour, which was kind of all over. But
that's my point.
There was some really big distance gaps in there. Yeah.
Well, because they always have to go to Colorado at some point, right? And, like, they can't miss that. Sure, but this one actually feels like a bunch of people are going to be on this tour this summer. I'm one of them.
I'm doing
Ryan's
13 shows.
Friends of the pod, Brendan, Becca, Fierce Critic, and Health Food Nut. Yep. So not just a Fierce Critic. But
no fast food for B on his road trip.
So, we're going to be following him on tour just to see what he's eating, so we can make sure that we can follow his lead. I'm looking forward to that. But no, it's going to be. I am excited about this tour in a way that I haven't been excited about a tour in a while. I feel like the vibe, the people on this tour. It's gonna be exciting stuff. And
And our
big things
recap in
coming from the
July is
pod.
only going to be like 9 hours long.
Yeah. I mean, one of us is going to be at almost every single one of these shows, so that's also exciting too. So Ryan's going to be at basically all of them himself. So
13.
I think we're still
only 13.
We're still getting a lot of people too. What's fun, I think, that tied into your point, Neil, is that a lot of people are still seeing them for the first time, right? So like, got to see. There you go, Haps 13. You got like all of our friends that love this band. Obviously, there's only been 5 public shows, and quite a few who haven't seen them still. So there's a lot of excitement, I think, to see this new setup and sort of coming off those recordings, and vibes are flying.
They're flying
for June.
Vibes are sky high right now.
Oof.
So without further ado, thank you everybody for tuning in today. We will see you next Wednesday, June 5th at 3:30 Eastern to recap the first night of tour in St. Louis. And we will, of course, be doing day after shows for every night of tour. So join us. We do still have a couple of vacancies. If you would like to join us on a day after show episode, I believe Atlanta Night 3. I already did talk about my fantasy Goose score last night, Brad. Thank you for reminding me.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you.
For anyone who missed that, I got 0 points. This is my third egg in the last 12 or 13 shows.
Yeah, it's been tough.
So I'm not doing very well right now.
You're just out of form.
Whatever,
okay.
We'll get back into it. It'll be fine. Yeah. But I'm excited for tour. Hope everyone else is. Thank you for tuning in to today's day after show. Have a fantastic day, and we will see